Welcome to Gaming Grains, the whiskey gaming channel. I'm your player one, Richard. While rifling through my whiskey cabinet looking for inspiration for today's video, a friend texted me about an upcoming allocation drop. And that got me thinking, what allocated bottles do I own that I could potentially do a blind with? And the answer was right in front of me, my Weller collection. Now, one of these four is my favorite. But can I pick it out of a blind, or by sampling these, will one of them change my mind? To find out, you know what to do. Grab those controllers, pour yourself a dram, and let's get into it. For today's video, we'll be taking a look at these four Wellers: the Special Reserve, the Antique 107, the Foolproof, and the 12 year. Now, the Special Reserve and 12 year both have a proof point of 90, whereas the Antique 107 is at 107 proof and the Foolproof is at 114. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that one of these is my favorite, and I'm going to see if I can't pick it out. And that particular one is the Foolproof. I know most people typically like the 107, just something about the Foolproof that really draws me in. Now, I should mention that this is a store pick, so that might have a little influence on it, but we shall see. Now, before I started recording, I asked that my wife do pours into my different Glens. Each one is numbered 1 through 4, and then at the bottom of each of these bottles, she's matched up the corresponding number to the Glen. So I am looking to see if I can't pick out the Foolproof and identify which one is my favorite. So hopefully it will be the Foolproof. If not, we'll see. So just from looking at the glasses, which sometimes can be a little deceiving, this one right here, number 4, seems in color to me to be a little bit darker. Now, with this being a 12 year, I would think that it would be darker, but it's 90 proof, which tells me that they have watered it down to get that proof point where they want it. So even though it's 12 year, it could be potentially a little bit lighter because of the watering. Out of the other 2 or 3, this one, number 2, seems to be a little bit lighter on the color. But we're going to go ahead and get in on number 1. I'll give you just some of the tasting notes as we go along and see if I can't pick out that Foolproof. So on the nose of number 1, so I get that light grassy note that I typically get out of a wheat whiskey. Now this one seems to be a little bit stronger than what I would expect out of a 90 proof. So like I said, that grassy note out of the wheat with the underlying sweetness of that caramel from the corn. So on the taste, cheers. Okay. Right off the bat, very bold flavors. I do get a little bit of a burn. This is my first pour of the evening. A lot of that flavor or nose comes across as a flavor, but that has a lot of punch to it. So right at the bat, something that's strong in flavor. I'm leaning a little bit more towards the Foolproof. But with a 12 year, could potentially be that as well. Let's get in on the taste one more time, because I do feel like I might be getting some of that wood influence. So that does taste a bit tannicky. So I'm going to say that this one is probably the 12 year. We might change our mind in a minute. So on to number 2. Oh, this is much more mellow. So again, that's still that grassy note that you would expect from a wheated whiskey, but nowhere near as intrusive or abrasive So yeah, lighter in color compared to the other one. I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but just a slight variation in the color. So we'll get in on the taste. Cheers. Much mellower, a little bit sweeter than number one. Still drinks a little bit at a higher proof. So I'm betting it's probably one of these two, leaning a little bit more towards the 107. Let's get it on the taste again. So no burn. It does seem to linger a little bit on the tongue, but that could still be remnants of the number one. Like I said, a lot smoother. This is a 90 proof though. So that's really having me question, is number one the Weller 12 year because of the smoothness of this one? I'm going to say for now, number two is going to be that Antique 107. Not bad. Nice mild flavor. A little bit amped up a little bit as far as what I would guess would be the proof point. But not bad. So number one we're saying is the 12 year because of that higher proof, that more tannic flavor to it. Has a little bit of a burn. This one's a little bit mellower in the nose and the flavor. So I'm going to say Weller 107 for number two. So on to number three. All right. Just the coloration between these, a little bit lighter. Oh my gosh. So that one, I'm getting the grassy note that I described before with the other two, but this one, there's much more of a sweeter note that seems to kind of shine through more than the other two. So let's get in on the taste. Cheers. That's smooth. Very mellow in flavor. That sweetness, so you get the grassy notes that you got from the other two, but that sweetness shines through over that grassy note. To me, this is, you would think with the proofier one that would be here. But what I enjoy about the full proof, and again, this is a store pick, is that sweet note. So I'm going to say number three, no questions asked, is that full proof. We might have to rearrange in a minute, but because I still have the special reserve and everything else already has a home. So this one, I mentioned at the beginning, has a darker color to it, which wouldn't make sense if it is the reserve. We would think that the 12 year would have that darker coloration. So let's get it on the nose. So again, grassy note. This too has that caramel note that shines through more than the grass. So I'm really questioning my order. All right, that's enough talking. On the taste, cheers. That one's really good too. That's like if you could take this one and proof it up a little bit. Not proof it up, sweeten it a little bit. All right. Let's go back on these two. Okay. So I'm going to change just based on the nose. That's weird. Almost like a light apple. All right, I'm going to move this guy here. And this guy here. So now seeing them kind of separated with the light coming in on them. This one does appear to be a little lighter in color in comparison to the rest. Still not sold on this guy though, number 1. Back on number 1. Yeah, this one, now that I've had several other tastes from the glasses, that burn is gone. That one definitely has some sort of wood influence, a little bit bitter on the flavor or on the tongue as it lingers. So I'm going to stick with number 1 being 12. All right, let's try number 2 again. So that's light and refreshing. Still get that grass note that I mentioned before, but it's very faint. So nowhere near as abrasive as this one here. So I'm going to leave that one there. I feel like that one's really mellow enough to say that it would be the Special Reserve. So now I need to make sure that I have the Weller 14, Weller 107 and the Foolproof picked out. So let's go in numerical order. We'll go in on number 3. So this one on the nose, number 4, is a little bit punchier. It feels like there's a little bit more of an ethanol nose to it. This one's not as intrusive or abrasive. So still mild, but a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to stick with this one as the 107. And just for giggles, we'll try number 4 again. So hopefully, if I'm doing this correctly, I'm identifying my favorite. A little bit bolder in the flavor profile, a little bit sweeter. So I'm going to stick with that. So Special Reserve, number 2, Weller 12, number 1, Foolproof, number 4, and 107, number 3. So let's go ahead and just start over here with the Special Reserve. On the bottom, I'll show you the number first. Number 2. All right, and I said that number 2 is the right one. Pretty good. Off to a good start. Okay, now we're going to move into the Weller 12 year. All right, it is number 3, and I said number 1. Well, that's not good. Okay, so didn't get the 12 year. Now I just got to hope that this is number 4. All right, so we're going to go with 107. 107 is number 1, which is, I said number 3. So 1 out of 3 for now, but I said that Foolproof was my favorite. Number 4. Heck yeah. So I didn't get the 12 year. I didn't get the Antique 107. On this tasting, now I know that flavors change. Your palate changes based on what you eat and all sorts of other factors. That 107, which is over here, and this guy over here, I did not enjoy. I know a lot of people tend to gravitate towards that 107. It's just not for me. Like I said, I was getting bitter notes on it. Maybe it has to do with just I thought it was this one, and that's why I kind of went that way. But this one just wasn't for me. Let's try one more time. Well, now having gone back into it, I'm getting like a cherry. I don't know. And see, now trying it again, I'm kind of thinking number 1 is a little bit better. I don't know. Anyway, video's already gone long enough. I was able to get the Special Reserve and the Foolproof, which at the time was my current favorite. Might be swayed to go back towards the 107. We'll have to try some more in a little while. All right. Thank you for sticking until the end. As always, if you haven't already, please make sure that you subscribe. As of the shooting this video, I'm currently at 65 subscribers, just 35 subscribers away from hitting my 100 subscriber mark before the end of the year. Please like this video. That really just helps grow the channel. And then down in the comments below, do you have a favorite Weller out of the rainbow that you prefer? Like I said, Foolproof tends to be my favorite. Sampling this 107 just a second ago might cause me to change my mind. We'll have to see. But leave it down in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching and sticking until the end. I'm your favorite player one, Richard. Have a good one.